Hey gang, I'm Justin from Soyouwannabeadm, and I'm here to talk to you about Sphinx City, a modern and magical metropolis where three heroes have to work together, follow the cash flow, and save their city. But this is also our actual play on Twitch, and I do have some good news, but also some bad news. And now let's do the bad news first. Bad news is our first episode that we will ever do in terms of actual plays is lost forever. That sucks. But good news, now I have to make this incredible recap video so that I can share all of the details of what you might have missed. So let's get into it. First off, Sphinx City. Like I said, it's modern and magical metropolis. So a bustling city full of traffic and people of all different shapes, sizes, and types and stuff like that. And it is modern and magical. So all of those people, they have spells and cell phones. They have internet and invocations. They have falchions and firearms, right? Now, despite all of their differences and the diversity in this city, there is one thing that binds them all together, and that is that Sphinx City is their home, through and through. But don't just take it from me. I've brought some friends along for the ride to help me tell this story. In fact, there's one of them right now. It's one of Sphinx City's most popular radio shows, THJG 102. Let's tune in.
Sponsored by The Olive Yard. When you're here, you're acquaintances. It's THJG 102 in the morning with Spock and Barnaby. Hey, good morning, Barnaby. How the heck are you on this beautiful Sphinx City morning? Oh, geez, Spock. Not so good, actually. Oh, no, you silly goose. Who's got your bread? I don't think that means a single thing. But it's all these abductions going on over the past 3 months. Oh, I mean, what you serving, baby B? With that abduction yesterday, we're at what? Like 13, 14 people missing. That's right. And some of the names include Tosh Grimble, Jeb Adewayu, Samantha Patel, Gina Bicicleta, Laser Jones, Taser Jones, and the mysterious, the timeless, Michael Bublé. They got the Christmas Sinatra guy. It's truly a sad day, Spock. And the Sphinx City police ain't doing jack. Well, I hope not. Jack's a good friend of mine.
That's Spock, always going for the low-hanging fruit. But those abductions sound horrible. And I cannot believe that the Sphinx City Police Department isn't doing anything about it. I wonder if they have any clues or leads or if they've figured out anything at all. You know who we can ask? Sphinx City Times reporter Murdoch McClinty. Let's check it out.
This just in. The police are incompetent. It appears that most of the victims were kidnapped around or inside of Midling Park in the north side of Sphinx City. The police also did not notice that none of the victims had AB blood type, an interesting development. After a little further research, I also discovered that 2 of the victims are actually father and son, Laser Jones and Taser Jones. Hopefully our heroes can put together these clues, follow them to the source, and figure out who's behind these abductions. And next up, we talk about the top 5 cryptids in Sphinx City.
Cryptids in Sphinx City? That might have to be a story for another time. But let's get into our characters, our heroes, our 3 protagonists who are here to save the day. Now, I would love to just read off their bios, and obviously I could do that. But I think I know somebody who knows them even better than I do. Now, he just started his own podcast, and it's certainly not Sphinx City's best, but it is the newest. So let's tune in to somebody who is a sort of middle management in a top secret organization called No One.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of From Coast to Ghost. I'm your host called Ghost. This episode we're going to be talking about all 3 of No One's special agents who may or may not be operating in Sphinx City. First up, we got Yulin J. Barry. This half-elf comes from a long family of Sphinx City cops. They really wanted to make a difference in this town, but they couldn't fight against the system. And they bloody well tried. But just when Yulin's parents got a little too close for comfort, They mysteriously died in a warehouse explosion, and even when Yulin joined the force with the same noble pursuit, he eventually was let go for asking too many questions, possibly getting too close to the truth. If that wasn't dodgy enough, then his apartment was broken into and the evidence was bloody stolen. The same evidence about his parents' murder. So, Yulin becomes a private investigator, takes an oath of vengeance, and he starts down a path of no return. Oh, and a Medusa lady tried to sleep with him after he caught her Earth Elemental fiancé Rocco cheating on her. Anyway, next up, Belcor Ironbelly, a dwarven man, hell-bent on preparing and serving the finest cuisine this city has ever seen. Perhaps the best meatloaf I've ever tasted. In this ambitious pursuit, he's traveled the globe, learned all kinds of culture and cooking techniques, and when he returned, he met a very special bird that he would go on to marry. Eventually, he'd find out that she ain't no ordinary bird, is she? No. She's a stepdaughter of the Don, the leader of the Silver Scales Mafia. He may be a teeny tiny little pixie man in a pinstripe suit, but don't be daft and let his physical stature fool you. Whoever's been balmy enough to kidnap all those people on the Don's turf, well, they got a trained chef with a meat cleaver coming their way. And last but not least, we have Jaster Fixadet. This goblin's family owns hot ramen in Boulder Town. He grew up fighting in the underground ring beneath the noodle shop, but his real passion is fixing stuff, figuring out how things are put together. His skills range from fixing his own motorcycle, picking locks, and Jaster's been jammy with a touch of hacking as well. Just recently, he was helping to fix the heavy vault door at the main branch of Phoenix Bank. While fixing it, he felt a strange heat coming over the other side of the door. But he knew there were security cameras on him, and he pushed his curiosity to the side. For now. And those three were recruited by yours truly to join no one. And remember, no one is a top secret. Hold on. Actually, I'll have to take this. Give me 1 second. This goddamn thing. Fucking Bluetooth bullshit is what it is. Oh, alright. Here we are. Yes, Commander Gaia. Right now? Right now I'm just recording a quick podcast episode, actually. Yes, now I hear you. Okay. It's top secret. No, I know that. Right. So then why do the pod? Yeah. I know. I'm sorry, Commander. Alright. Well, folks, as always, this episode is brought to you by Tuba, Sphinx City's #2 ride-sharing program. So strike up the band and use promo code NOONE for 15% off your first ride with Tuba today.
Uh-oh. Looks like Ghost shouldn't be talking on his podcast all about a top secret organization that apparently no one is supposed to know about. But I digress. So we have our 3 agents. We have this terrible string of abductions going on throughout Sphinx City. Eventually, they all converge in Midling Park, a beautiful verdant park in the center of Sphinx City, where it sort of even drowns out the sounds of construction and traffic. And as they do, they meet Ghost there. Ghost hands them over a missing persons report from the SCPD that he stole, but also tells them, hey, there's at least a witness that is ready to speak with you waiting on a park bench. His name is Tony, and you can go talk to him and everything like that. There's also some other characters that our agents get to speak with and learn more about this case as they travel along their way. But rather than me just tell you about it, I'll let them tell you about it, because as luck would have it, I have both of them here available for interviews. With us today is Tony Bagelson, a Sphinx City citizen and a victim of an attempted kidnapping. Wow. Tony, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, jeez. Thank you for having me, Justin. I'm happy to be here. You want me, I should tell my story about what happened, or?
Yes, Tony, that would be incredible. Why don't you tell us what happened on that fateful day in the park?
Okay. Well, what had happened was I was in the park. I'm walking my dog Rizzo, and we're heading towards the zoo. Because she loves to, she loves to bark at the birds who can talk. The parrots. And I was trying to get my 10,000 steps in. Trying to do my thing, and on the way there, this gentleman with this long white hair, he sort of approaches us, and he says, "Hey, I'm missing my dog and I can't find him. Can you help me?" And my heart breaks for the guy. So of course I say, "Yeah, I'll help you find your dog." Next thing I know, I'm shoulders deep in a bush and I get whacked over the top of my head and I knocked out. Completely, I'm gone, And I wake up a little bit later. Rizzo, my dog, is licking my face, and I go to the clinic. They say I don't got a concussion or nothing, but I was out for a couple hours because when I got home, I missed my favorite home and gardening remodeling show, Lawn and Order, and I never miss an episode of Lawn and Order. So, anyway, I knew that I was out for a long time, but I TiVo'd. So, anyway, that's what happened.
Dang, Tony, that's amazing. I suppose it's lucky that you only ended up with a welt on your head and you weren't kidnapped, but...
You're not kidding. Anyway, later that day, I found a $5 on the ground. I went and bought a lottery ticket with it. I was feeling so lucky.
And?
And what?
The lottery ticket. Tony, what about... Did you win big?
What? No, I immediately lost. But what are you going to do? It's what it's...
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Tony. Now we head over to the Midling Park Zoo where we have Tabitha. Tabitha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, Justin. It's my pleasure. So what is this, like on TV or something?
I mean, like, technically it'll probably be on, like, YouTube or something like that, but,
Oh, okay, good for you. Hey, we all gotta start somewhere, right?
Sure. Okay, well, Tabitha, I understand that you ran into our 3 heroes while you were in the zoo. Can you tell us about what happened?
Oh, yeah, of course. So there I was in the zoo. I was crying. I'm crying publicly and loud, all right? I'm really giving a show of it. You understand? So, like, I'm really performing. I mean, that Gina Gemini from Bard's Way, she could have eaten her heart out. You understand?
The theater actor? Okay. Well, Tabitha, can you explain to us why you were crying that day?
Oh, sure. So, at the time, I was engaged. Happily married now. But my fiance at the time, Felix Kaufman, he had gone missing 2 weeks before our wedding date. I'm freaking out. As you can imagine, the wedding venue deposit, gone. All of the bridesmaids' dresses, gone. All of this planning that I had been doing for over a year, up in flames. So, naturally, as you can imagine, Justin, I'm freaking out. So, what do? I go to the zoo. I check out the animals. And especially because Felix had this real thing for chimpanzees. It was like a big part of his identity. And so I go to the zoo and I'm checking out the chimpanzees.
Fascinating. And what happened next?
Well, Felix had this real particular scar above his eye, And wouldn't you know, I'm looking at these chimpanzees and one of those chimpanzees has this same scar, almost in the exact same spot, same coloration, shape at all. You know what I mean? So I'm freaking out. Anyway, I'm just thinking it's the universe talking to me, letting me know that Felix is okay or that he's watching down on me or something. Anyway, it ended up helping those fellas who was talking to me in the zoo, though, trying to calm me down. Because again, crying publicly and loud.
I bet. Well, Tabitha, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Justin. And remember, hey, if you're watching this at home, remember, I am a group fitness instructor over at Fitness Titans. So, we got spots available in my next cycle class. Feel free to drop in, okay? Bye.
Oh, a little plug. Look at that. Good for you, Tabitha. Anyway, so our 3 heroes are figuring things out. They're following the clues. They're beginning to unravel this mystery that's happening at the zoo, it would seem. As they do, they perceive the scene in front of them, and what they see is a gentleman with long white hair entering into the employee hut in the center of the zoo. They follow behind, but he's gone. There's a big red button on the wall. You gotta press it. They press it. It opens up like a bed, essentially. opens up and reveals a staircase that goes deeper underground. As they begin to slink and sneak their way down the staircase into this strange, narrow corridor with flickering lights, unfortunately, Jaster rolls a 2 on the stealth check. So what ends up happening is that the long, white-haired gentleman at the end of the hallway turns around. They make eye contact with each other. He says, "Oh shit," and pulls out a freaking gun, okay? Points it at him, and that's the end of this episode of Sphinx City. I really hope you enjoyed this, gang, and please remember, if it's June or July 2024, then we're doing this live every Thursday on Twitch, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it's not those, or you miss those episodes, you can probably catch them on our YouTube or our Patreon. The description and the bio is where you can find the link tree to get access to all of the different things that So You Want to Be a DM is responsible for, including our podcast and TikTok and all that stuff, right? Please follow along for more Sphinx City. Let's find out if our 3 secret agents are able to save Sphinx City.